to another episode of the North South Podcast, our New Year's episode.
New
It's a
decade,
special one because
2020.
new decade, yeah. Shifting decades. So yeah, we're going to discuss best sporting moments of this decade, all kinds, all different sports over the last 10 years. Maybe some new ones will happen on the 26th, Darren.
Yeah, yeah.
Some
We
heroic.
won't know yet, will we? Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
problem
so
for
you
future
had
goals.
some stuff prepared for this one.
Yeah, well, there's just a few things that, yeah, we can maybe start off with, and then we can just go into sporting moments that we remember and that, like, from this past 10 years on that.
I
Obviously,
think I think I should go first because I don't have a lot off the top of my head. Like I haven't really thought about it properly, but the biggest one for me would probably be for me winning the World Cup in rugby is was big, but 438 was bigger for some reason and I don't know why. I think it was because of the team we beat. That stands out definitely as one of the biggest sporting moments. The decade started off good. I mean, you never really expect too much from Bafana, but I think one of the greatest moments for me was the goal Simpiwe Shabalala scored um, in Soccer City. That was a magnificent way to start off the decade. Progress from there, I'd say team of the decade is the Proteas Test team definitely, and a very close second given what they've done recently is the Springboks.
yeah, well, I definitely think the Springboks victory this year, um, in 2019, should I say, was probably my highlight of the decade. Maybe just because it's the most recent thing, but just the way they went about it, and yeah, winning the World Cup is always just so special. But like you say, yeah, starting off the decade in 2010 with
Oh,
the
and my apologies. 438 was sort of, not in this decade, but I just had
yeah,
to bring it since I get to discuss sporting moments.
um, yeah, obviously the FIFA World Cup being held the first time in Africa, in South Africa, so that was quite a big thing for us, and yeah, we were what in matric uh, during that, so yeah, that's
Hmm.
also shows
No distractions, of course. So that was
yeah,
fun.
yeah, we aging a bit as well now, and obviously another thing that happened in 2010 was the Super Rugby final, which was the Bulls Stormers. Uh,
Oh, okay. Wow.
yeah,
Um, can we squeak Sharks Bulls? No, that's '07.
yeah,
Different decade.
no,
Damn,
yeah,
years have gone by, hasn't it?
yeah. Um, and like one of the other things that also came to mind was the dominance of Chris Froome in the Tour de France. When
Yeah.
I think in 2013 when he won it for the first time, just how dominant he was, and yeah, then he went on to win
Yeah,
it
of course.
3 years in a row or something like that. But just an animal.
He's well, you could say it was Team Sky and Geraint Thomas and those guys. And it always is with the Tour de France winners. It's a large part of the team, so that's a given. It always is. But you got to look at the way he strategized because I remember the years he won. I pretty much watched the whole tour. Um, and he timed his victory so well. And when he did go, he obliterated them. And I promise you, one of those mountaintop finishes in 2013 where he was so far ahead of everyone, he just demoralized them. When he attacked again the next few days in the Pyrenees, um, guys were just demoralized. Like they wouldn't even put themselves through that to even chase him. So there'd be points where it would be him, it would be two Sky people and like a lone Colombian or something like that. And he won with so much dominance, like and the other special thing about him is you can see it's raw talent because he doesn't have a frame of a climber or a sprinter. So he sort of just took what he had and developed it. So yeah, obviously showing that South Africa can produce world-class talent.
Well, yeah, Kenya. Uh,
Well, I mean, he got his
well,
schooling and therefore his development mostly came from here.
yeah, yeah, that's true. So yeah, we always like to claim the
Yeah,
yeah
we half
the
claim
mismatch.
everyone, the hell out of everyone. Roger Federer, Elon Musk, like everyone's ours, man. Steve Nash, ex NBA MVP, claim him as well. Born in Pretoria.
So yeah, why not? Other the British love to do that as well. They like to claim other nationalities for themselves whenever they do well.
Used
Um,
to like to claim countries as well.
well,
Had to
yeah,
throw that in there.
let's not go down that.
Yeah, we
But
don't do
yeah,
that
and
anymore.
yeah, obviously there was the dramatic final day of the Premier League with
Of course.
was it,
Was that 11?
Man
Was that
City versus QPR something.
Yeah, yes, it was
I
QPR.
think
Um,
around there with Aguero scoring extra time.
to
So
win the
that was
league,
also,
basically.
yeah, that was a memorable one. Uh, I'm trying to think of what other ones. Obviously, there's been the Olympics, which is always good. We had Chad Leclos that performed really well for us.
Tremendous, yeah. Just before I forget, was the Roger Federer, the American guy who serves really fast, Andy Roddick, was that Wimbledon final in this decade where they went on for like 14 break sets or some nonsense like that?
I
I
can't
think it might have been.
remember.
If it wasn't, that's a very memorable moment over the last maybe 15 years in tennis, something that I probably will never forget. It was getting dark and everything, like, what's going on
Yeah,
here?
yeah. Well, from tennis side of things, we've also had like Kevin Anderson from South Africa doing really well, making it to. Did he make it to the final versus
Yes,
Djokovic?
he did.
I think in Wimbledon
The
or something like
USA.
that.
Was it
Is it
Wimbledon?
USA?
He's done pretty well. He's a perennial semi-quarter and semi-finalist every year for
Yeah,
multiple different competitions. He just struggles to. His serve is vicious, man. It's downright vicious. It should be
yeah.
used as like the death squad firing sort of panel.
It's that height as well that he gets. Like
Crazy, man. His
he's
serve
so
is
tall.
absolutely vicious, man. Um,
Yeah,
if we look at the
tennis side of things.
NBA over the last 10 years, unfortunately, it's been a cycle of super teams. So it's basically been Golden State, and whoever's managed to topple them has basically been like, immortality in terms of winning that. Like people give them credit as if they've won three instead of just
Yeah,
the one. And literally the only people to ever top them was literally Cleveland the 1 year with LeBron. And then last
yeah.
year with Kawhi and them. It was actually this
Raptors.
year. The Raptors, yeah. So unfortunately, not too many highlights there. Most of the big moments coming early in the decade when LeBron joined the Heat. They also another super team that went on for 4 years. So, like we had the one episode a few months ago about salary cap, the sport of business. That seems to have failed when you just keep drafting the best. So you get situations where, and it really does ruin the league. So I understand why America has the salary caps. But now it's wide open because as sharp as Golden State rose, they literally have no one, and they're one of the worst teams in the league right now.
Yeah, and yeah, it's good to see that there's been like a shake-up. Like it's not consistently one team winning for like many years in a row now. It's chopping and changing a bit, but there have been those little spats where teams have been dominant. But yeah, I think
Yeah, some
obviously,
international soccer, Darren. Before I forget, in Brazil in 2014, what Germany did to them. What was
yeah,
it? 8-1, 8-0. Gosh, good golly, jeez.
yeah,
7. Was
yeah,
it 7? Oh,
7 or 8. Yeah, I don't think it
tremendous
matters
at
too much
home.
to them.
Tremendous
Yeah,
at home,
that
man.
that was
Gosh.
quite a memorable one. What else has happened? Oh, yeah, like I said, there's the Olympics and that with Africa, yeah, performing quite well in the recent Olympics and that, especially with when it comes to our sprinters and that, we've got like some venomous 100-meter
The
sprinters
the
now.
Wade Van Niekerk moment probably
Yes,
ranks pretty highly there. And
yeah,
yeah, apologies, just chopping and changing between sports, but cricket, Tendulkar's final swan song in 11,
yeah.
getting him the trophy, ending
The
the World
first,
Cup in a six,
the
with
first
the
person,
six, never forget that.
first person to score a double hundred in ODIs
Yeah,
in
in
this decade.
2011.
Yeah, so was it Rohit Sharma, I think. So yeah,
Was it Sharma? Was it not Tendulkar?
I think Sharma scored it before Tendulkar.
Did he? Because I remember thinking Tendulkar's so incredible, he has that under his belt as well. But yeah, To be corrected, it was either of the two. I know that those were the first two in no specific order.
Yeah,
Um,
and
might have been.
that's one of the
But
one of the things we can look at that I've got some stats for is the most runs for an ODI in ODIs in the decade. Who do you think sitting at
decade,
top for ODIs? Yeah,
Virat Kohli.
well done. He scored 11,000 runs
Oh my gosh.
in this last 10 years at an average of 61 in
Oh my
ODIs.
word. That's but you see now, if you look at that, that's on par with Steve Smith in terms of batting performance averages. But if you look at in terms of the type of match, one's in a test, one's in an ODI. That's incredible.
Yeah,
That's as long sample period as you'd need to say that is the best ODI player to ever walk this earth. And he's walked this earth with players like AB de Villiers, like Tendulkar, like Jayasuriya, like giants of ODI cricket.
yeah, and then sitting
And the
in
likes of
second. Yeah, and second's Rohit Sharma, Hashim Amla in third.
incredible. Never ever forget Hashim Amla was said to not be an ODI cricketer for many years.
And is at fourth, but he scored 6,500 runs at an average of nearly 64. So that's amazing. For 10-year period, averaging 64 is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Another moment was his 34 ball 100 in the pink ODI.
Yeah,
It's another incredible moment.
Pink versus West Indies. And then if you want, who do you think's the leading wicket taker in the decade for ODIs?
I have no idea, Dan.
It's a subcontinent team, play from one of them.
I have no idea, Darren.
Very famous action. Malinga.
I don't know, Murali? Oh, was it Malinga? Okay, are we talking about ODIs?
Yeah,
Okay,
ODI.
Malinga, that would make sense, but that's impressive. And that's impressive. Considered, but there have been people who've come into the decade and some people who've taken off, like KG, but there's no one he probably is the one who's been consistent from start to end. He came in around 09. Well, he did get 4 and 4 against South Africa in 07, but yeah, he's solid through the decade.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's getting 248 wickets in 10 years at an average of 28. On that list is Shakib Al Hasan, and third is Imran Tahir. And then
that's shocking, Darren.
Yeah, it's quite a surprise. I think you've got to go down a few to get down to the next South African, which is Morne Morkel, 154 wickets in the decade.
Imagine if he played solid the decade, he would have been high up on that list.
Yeah, and Dale Steyn as well. He's got 145.
Surprised he's not higher up there, Darren. He played most of the decade.
And then there's one to watch that's only his records only from 2015 to 2019. Rashid Khan from Afghanistan has got 133 wickets and an average of 18.
Special player, man. He sticks out on most lists. He's so highly ranked.
Yeah, it's quite impressive. So do you want to let's look at the tests? Run scorer for tests on this decade.
Steve Smith or Virat Kohli?
No. Alistair Cook.
Give me. Is it Alistair Cook?
Yeah.
That's crazy stat. How's that possible?
The amount of tests he's played.
Okay.
He's got 201 innings versus Virat Kohli's got 141 innings.
His whole fucking career is basically in this decade. He's for his whole career.
So
namesake, my namesake. Yeah.
So he 60 more innings than Kohli, but he's only got 1,000 more. So he's got 8,800 Then it's Joe Root second, Virat in the third. Yeah, Virat's got 7,000 runs at an average of 55.
So
Still
who's got the best
amazing.
average in the decade, though?
Do you want to guess?
Yeah, but what is it? What's Steve Smith's
uh,
average for the decade? It's probably his career average, right?
It's 63. So
Unreal.
yeah, he sits in with the highest average at the moment.
Unreal,
and
man. That's like Graham Pollock time. The last time we've seen something like that with such longevity.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the other people on the list are pretty special as well. You've got the likes of David Warner, Amla Williamson, Ali from Pakistan, Pujara, and Ross Taylor. So it's quite a who's who of cricket.
A
And then,
little bit of a mis-selling stat though, because it's just sheer volume you can get on the list, like Ross Taylor. Pretty lackluster in terms of what he was pegged to be when he came in to international cricket. Just sheer amount of innings probably got him on that list, and patches of good form.
and then for wicket takers for tests, we spoke about this person not too long ago. Who do you think's topping the chart?
When you first asked me this question, I thought you were talking about test players. That's why I couldn't come up with one. So I have no idea. Anderson.
There we go. You got it.
Just literally from the clue of that we were speaking about him in the previous podcast.
Yeah.
Anderson.
427 wickets in
wow
10 years at an average of 24.
That's a scary average.
Yeah. Then Stuart Broad just behind him with 398. And then Nathan Lyon.
How's
third.
that? Like you were saying on the previous podcast as well, just holding up an end, run off the mill, keep pegging away at it.
Yeah.
Guys will make mistakes on you.
376 wickets. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. You got to go down the list a bit.
Lyons also played a ton of tests though.
Yeah, he has matches.
Stain on that. I'm surprised Stain isn't in the top 5.
Yeah, because if you look at the Anderson's played 105 matches, Broad 110, Lyon 94, Stain 59. So a lot less matches.
What the hell? Why are we playing so little test cricket?
I don't know. He was injured for quite a while as well, so that might have also affected things.
The Australians also get solid 5-match series every fourth year, so that's even such a thing.
Yeah, but he does have. It's surprisingly that the South Africans have the best bowling averages on here. So Dale Stein's bowling average is 22, and tied with
James Bond level.
And tied with him as well is Philander, also 22, the best averages on the list. So
Philander was blowing up the stats when he first came in, man. He was getting crazy stats in home series. Like his average was like 20 something for quite a while in Test cricket.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one thing. And then maybe to wrap up, we can look at this little chart that World Rugby has put up for the best rugby player of the decade. And yeah, obviously it might have a bit of bias to it. I don't know why it's so heavily stacked with All Blacks.
Best player of the last decade is either Daniel Carter or Richie.
We'll go through this. So it's a knockout round kind of thing. So the first one is Aaron Smith versus Carter. Who are you gonna pick?
Even though Smith's really good.
Okay, so Carter's going through. That's a given one. Sexton versus Farrell, Owen Farrell.
Just to pursue Farrell.
Oh, well, I'm saying Sexton, and I think Sexton wins. So that's fine. Then we've got Will Genia versus Brad Barrett. You've got to go with Brad Barrett.
I want to go with Genia though, man. I'd take him in like my scrum half of the decade. Like I'd probably take him.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to educate you on rugby a bit, I think. So,
Shut up, Darren. Just go on with the list.
okay, Barrett will go through. Nonu versus Abana.
We're talking about center or wing here. What's going on?
It's just both of them.
In terms of who's a better rugby player. Jesus, One's got stats, one's fucking terrifying. Fucking Habana.
Okay, we'll go with Habana. Bit of patriotism. Beast versus McCaw. You've got to go. You got to go McCaw.
I can't. Undoubtedly.
Brody Retallick versus Sergio Parise.
Jeez, that's not fair. Retallick, man.
Okay.
I
Alan
rate Retallick, man. I think he's probably top 5 locks all time. I take probably Retallick.
Yeah. Alan Wynne-Jones versus David Pocock. I think you got to go Jones, just because of how many.
I go with Jones, but like personally, I really like Pocock, man. You know, when it comes to like the flanks and the Steelers and me.
Yeah.
I love
Pocock
the guy.
Yeah, I also love him, but I think for Squidge, we'll take Jones for just this one. And then Sam Warburton versus Kieran Reid. I think you got to go Reid.
Reid, man. Even Squidge said it. The dude was one of the best players in the world for a few years. The decade.
Okay, so now we got to go back. So now next knockout round is Carter versus Sexton.
Hello?
You got to go Carter. Carter, hey?
No, sorry, you just broke up there for a sec. What did you say after Kieran Reid?
I said now we're going to go back. So it's Carter versus Sexton. So, but we're going to choose Carter, I imagine.
Carter, yeah.
Okay, and then it'll be Brad Barrett versus Brian Abana. Who
Abana?
Taking Abana.
We're talking about dudes in their prime, right?
Yeah.
Habana.
Okay, we'll go Habana.
The best wing of all time, man.
McCaw versus Retallick.
Oh, Jesus, Darren. Whoa. Fucking, I don't know, McCaw, man.
Okay.
That's crazy to match up different positions, though. It's like weird. They're both so good at what they do.
And then Alan Wynne-Jones versus Kieran Reid. Gotta go Kieran Reid.
Darren, Jesus, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. Kieran Reid, dude. But you see why it's so stacked with All Blacks now? Because when you put them up against people, they're just a little bit more special.
Yeah. It is quite interesting. But so you're picking Reid. I'm putting the pressure on you now, so you've got to be ready for it. So the next one's now. This is the semi-finals right now. So the next two are the most important picks. So now it's Carter versus Abana. Who are you picking?
Carter, man.
Okay.
That's how you know we're honest here. That's how you know we're honest. Like, who's going to make more of a difference in a game, even though you have a banner on the wing? You need to get the ball to him first. Carter's going to get it every couple possessions. He's going to do something special with it. And if you guys get a penalty, he's going to kick it from anywhere, at any angle. I have to take Carter, man.
And then the next one, McCaw versus Reid.
I take McCaw, man. Pretty solidly, I take McCaw. That's just because I really love thieves, man. I really love people who harass the ruck, like cause it, like, because turnovers are like, you can get a turnover on a stop ball, but to get a turnover and then kick it immediately into offense, that's something very different in rugby. That's where the points come from. And also the leadership qualities, the captaincy skill, the longevity, the lack of major injuries, World Cup winning pedigree. I'd have to give it to McCaw.
And then I'll put I'll rest this on your shoulders. For the final, it's Carter versus McCaw. So who are you picking for the player of the decade? Let's
look, player of the decade. Again, I'm looking at winning, man. I'm looking at winning. And if you're gonna say I get to choose one guy and then the rest of the team's up to someone else, who's gonna help me win? You'd agree with me that captaincy is good, thievery is good, slowing down the ball is good, technical professional fouls that get past the ref, being in the ref's ear is good, but cold hard points from anywhere, getting you possession, getting you countless amount of bounce just before the line. That's not a mistake. I've seen it too many times for it to be a mistake. What else? The dummy passes, the toughness in being targeted and tackled by the centers and the props to try and injure you, getting through that sort of pressure. Also, World Cup winning pedigree. I have to take Carter. Like, if I weigh it up, I take Carter, man. And even if I look at the whole list, I think the top two are correct, Carter and McCaw.
Yeah, they definitely are the players of the decade. Like, they just stand out amongst the rest. And like you said as well, they've both got amazing traits and talents and that. But if you had to pick one player that could change your team, could change a game for you, you got to pick Dan Carter just because of
he can even sidestep. He can even, and we're talking about his prime. He could sidestep. He could tackle. He could defend. He could catch under pressure. He's got the entire package off a back, an entire package, with an astonishing left foot that should be in a museum when he's dead, right next to Messi's. Has two of the greatest left foots ever.
And I think I think you've got to also remember that McCaw was the captain of a New Zealand side that was stacked full of legends. And being a captain, obviously, it is still quite difficult, but your life becomes so much easier when you're leading players that are just the best in the world. In every single position, they just dominate.
Yep, that's true.
So his life was a lot easier because of that. So yeah, I think Carter was the right call. But yeah, I think that's where we can end our first episode of 2020, and hopefully some new segments coming our listeners' way, and new guests on soon. And yeah, we'll hopefully keep it interesting.
Thanks for listening, and please remember to subscribe and follow us on our different social media pages. Catch you next time.